Basis for the Ethiopian government's commitment to be able to actually do this process of exclosures, natural regeneration, and regreening across the entire country. Kenya is now also developing a model of holistic grazing management that also provides an inspiration for many countries as they develop their approaches to natural regeneration and silvopastoral systems. What you see here is a map of the community conservancies in the area where they first began in central northern Kenya, where pastoralism is the dominant form of livelihood. And these conservancies basically have evolved an innovation in governance systems to be able to bring different tribes, different ethnic groups together to sit down and negotiate their management of grazing systems, and then allow for improved management practices such as holistic grazing, mob grazing, and natural regeneration of trees and grasses as an ability to regreen the environment. This movement has been spreading very rapidly in Kenya, and there are now millions of acres of land under conservancy management, and the amount is growing at leaps and bounds each year. It will soon reach about 50 of these conservancies, covering not only the central north of the country, but the far north, the eastern coast, and the southern grasslands surrounding the Masai Mara Conservancy and other grazing areas in the south. So indeed, we have a number of major models that enable us to envision a regeneration process in the agropastoral and pastoral areas of the continent. But the fact is that the land degradation process in Africa is also a serious crisis in many parts of the continent. Particularly, as you see on this map, the central and southern areas of the continent, from the eastern Africa, Horn of Africa areas down to the southern grasslands and pastoral areas. This alarming situation has evolved into a new program that was just launched by the Africa Union last December at the Climate Change Convention in Paris. The program is called the Africa Restoration Initiative, or AFR 100, signifying that Africa is committing to regenerating, restoring 100 million hectares of degraded land over the next 15 years by 2030. Now, this program itself is already achieving a major degree of success in terms of building momentum among countries to make solid aspirational commitments to restoring their degraded lands. You'll notice that Ethiopia has now committed to over 15 million hectares, Kenya recently over 5 million hectares, and 22 countries have joined the program with a total commitment of over 63.5 million hectares within just 8 months of the launch of this program. Now, achieving restoration on Africa's degraded lands means a cross-sectoral approach involving not only the forests and the croplands, but also the pastures. And in fact, our calculations indicate that pasture regeneration and grazing systems regeneration will be the dominant aerial prospect for the restoration of degraded lands in Africa. And so mobilizing to be able to create these evergreen grazing systems through the natural regeneration of useful trees for fodder and shade in the grazing areas, while also improving the forest lands and the croplands, are a holistic approach, an interministerial, intersectoral approach to achieving the goal of 100 million hectares of restoration. Now, indeed, there is, in fact, expanding